My space is kind of chaotic at the moment, but I've cleared off enough workspace that I can bring out these little boys. So, I'm a big fan of Garfield. Here is a vintage Dakin Garfield who's supposed to be a little angel. He's a little rough around the edges, but overall, like, really good condition. His fluffiness, like his fur, isn't super destroyed, matted, not super faded. He's got all of his stripes. I didn't realize in the pictures, but he's got little brown feetsies. He's got little angel wings. His little but little wand here is missing the star, but it still has some ribbon. But he also still has his little Dakin medallion. And then we go over to Meowth. He does have some staining on his bottom, which I will show off a little bit better. But I'm just going to take these little guys apart, unstuff them, wash them, fix up Garfield's accessories, maybe make accessories for Meowth. Let's get some close-ups of these guys so you can see what we are working with. And depending on how their internal stuffing is, I might just reuse that, but I do have a big box of polyfill, so we can restuff them. I just want to give them a little love, a little spa day.
Here we have Meowth. He is from about 2001 or so. I would assume a little bit later in production based on the fact that his eyes are a special button or, safety eye as opposed to just being printed on or embroidered. As you can see here, his bottom has staining. It's sort of a dark hot chocolate coffee kind of stain. And then Garfield, I didn't really take much footage on accident. I meant to, but there is his official tag. And now you can see here a little bit more about Garfield. He still had the plastic hanger tag piece that originally held his information card tag that would have been on his ear for when he was sold, which just goes to show how little use he actually saw. His wings and his other accessories, halo, wand, are all attached very loosely with a little bit of white thread. So I just snipped those off. His wings also were held on by a safety pin by the previous owner. So what I did for each of them is I just went to the back. They had a middle back seam, and I just carefully parted their fur and took them apart. Garfield had multicolor stuffing, but Meowth only had white traditional stuffing, as what you would think for a stuffed animal. I just used a little of our laundry detergent. We use Woolite, and then I used a bit of stain stuff on Meowth and really focused on working in and getting that stain out. It came out completely, and then Garfield, I gave the same treatment. He didn't have any stains that I noticed, but I just made sure that he was fully cleaned. Both of them had very dirty water. And then I just took them and let them hang to dry in the sun. It was a very hot day out, and we've been having a heat wave, so I just let them dry fully. This took about a few days, like 3. They were pretty much dry after day 1. Then I got to embroidering. I decided to give them the Build-A-Bear treatment and give them little hearts. So I just, on Inkscape, I used Inkscape, a vector art program, to design a little heart. Nothing crazy, and then I converted that to an embroidery file for my machine and just embroidered a few on some red felt. You can see here the white stuffing, and I just refilled him with all his original stuffing and then gave him the Build-A-Bear treatment. Like I said, just gave it a little love, gave it some kisses, and then, hopes and dreams, wishes, everything that you could ever hope in a stuffy, and I just stuck it right on in there. And then for the most part, I used the ladder stitch, which, if you don't know how to do it, I highly recommend learning if you're interested in doing any sort of stuffed animals, any puppetry. It's a very useful stitch for closing these seams sort of blindly. And then you can see here the back of Meowth. And once again, you get a kind of look at the multicolor stuffing as I restuff Garfield. This overall was very easy. I just gave him a little love too, the Build-A-Bear treatment. Margaret's in my chair there, you can see. But just put it back in. the ladder stitch, it is spelled exactly as if you were to climb a ladder, Ladder, and it's fairly straightforward, but definitely something that you want to have in your tool belt. And just like that, Garfield was also sewn up, and the boys were both back to being plushies. I think that the ladder seam is the best option for sewing them up. As you can see here, it cleanly hides it for the most part. It shows a little on Meowth, but then I went back to the embroidery machine and embroidered a star for the top of Garfield's little wand. Since his was missing it, and it's typically a plush item, I decided to just make it out of a couple pieces of felt. I hot glued it on and then added some securing stitches. A few days and a vacation later, and my workspace had become very cluttered. It ended up being the dumping ground of everything that I had, so I just cleared that all away before getting to work on this project again. I decided to go through my rickrack and notions. I have ribbon and lace and just all these little frilly things to kind of get an idea of maybe if I wanted to replace Garfield's halo.
For Garfield's halo, since this is broken, I could just mend it, fix this, or I could audition. I've pulled out some rickracks that I can put together a unique halo. So I'm going to just play around, see what kind of looks the best. Like I could do a green and a red. I have some white. And I also have some yellow. What do we think? Do we just go with the original? I think we go with the original.
Then I got to work in repairing the wings. So for Garfield's wings, I put a little piece of fabric within them underneath where it was slit, and then I just sewed back and forth. I did it a little sloppy. Nobody's really going to be looking at this, and it's more practical than really decorative anyway. It's on the inside of his wings, and then I got him all dressed up to be ready for the reveal. I added just a few stitches securing his halo in a couple points, and I sewed back on his little wand to his paw. It's not necessarily the best sewing, but it is the most practical to get it all together, and it's not, how would I put it? Like, it's not going to be that noticeable unless you're really inspecting. He's going to look adorable, and he definitely makes me happy. And now for the grand reveal. So here they are. They are fully cleaned up. Garfield has his accessories back. Meowth, I didn't do any clothing or anything extra for him, but he's all cleaned. The stain on his bottom is gone. And I'm really like in love with the idea of fixing up some of these old pre-loved stuffies. I have a soft spot for stuffed animals. I always have. And it was very relaxing and enjoyable to wash them, redo them. Like, it was very minor fixes in the grand scheme of things. Like, I understand that. And I didn't pick like the worst off options. These are very like collectible pieces, and so not necessarily everyone like played with them. Meowth, I feel like, is more of like a standard toy. Like, kids would totally play with him. But Garfield was like a collectible, a lovable toy. Like, people played with him, but at the same time, like, this one is more of like a on-the-shelf decorative, yay, I got it as a gift little guy. So he wasn't that bad. I have in my future, hopefully, some more stuffies to clean up, maybe that are a little bit worse for wear than these guys were, but let me know in the comments down below. Did you like this? Was it chill enough? Was it too chill? Should it really be more amped up? I'm really excited to share some of my vlog out and about from my vacation with Connor, and yeah, that's all for now. Like if you like, dislike if you don't. Let me know in the comments down below what I could do better, what I have done worse. You know, just give me all the feedback. I am very hungry for feedback. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you flock and squawk again with me sometime.